Hello friends. Today we will explain to you the Korean movie D-War from Recapz Now. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. In the introductory scene we are told a story about dragons, and the scene of the story was in a country where a girl is said to be born every 500 years, and when that girl reaches the age of 20 she is supposed to gain supernatural powers, which she can use to turn any snake into a celestial dragon. It is said that one of those snakes would use its powers for the good of mankind, while the other would use it for destruction. We are then shown that time has come for the process to start. The scene then shifts to Los Angeles, where a place is shown to be destroyed. We see a number of reporters and police officers were present there. Meanwhile, we see a fortune teller who was talking about a prediction that was about to be true. There we see a man called Ethan, who was a reporter. While taking pictures he notices a symbol that he has seen before, but he was not able to remember where he had seen it. After this he goes to his office and keeps on thinking about the mark. Ethan then looks at his locket which Jack had given to him 15 years ago. Ethan feels that the locket and the story were somehow linked. The movie then goes to a flashback and we see events from 15 years ago. We are shown that a younger Ethan goes to a shop with his dad, whose owner was Jack. We see that Ethan is roaming around the shop when a magic box opens up that emits a light and Ethan sees a mark. We then see Jack acting of having a heart attack in order to divert the attention of Ethan's dad so that he could talk with Ethan. Jack then informs Ethan that the light he saw was from an emoji. Jack says that emoji was an ancient Korean creature that could change into a huge dragon if they are exposed to proper power. He informs Ethan that in the prehistoric times the emoji clan of snakes lived in heaven. Every 500 years an emoji was rewarded for its good deeds. The emoji needed to gain celestial powers before transforming. We see that there was one evil snake called Baraki. Baraki and his clan was very powerful, who could gain the powers of the emoji. But those in heaven did not want this to happen. That is why the powers of the emoji were hidden. The scene then shifts to Korea in the year 1507, where we see an emoji light falls inside the house of the head of the village. We see that the head has a daughter named Naeng. Naeng was born with the magical powers, but her dad did not know anything about it. Along with Naeng, a man called Harim and Burjo are sent to heaven to fight Baraki. But Baraki came to know where the emoji powers were hidden. Then Bujing meets the head of the village and informs him of Naeng's powers. We see a grown-up Harim and Naeng. Harim was a powerful warrior and both he and Naeng loved each other. We then see that Burjo takes Harim to meet a noble emoji, who gives him a locket. Then Burjo informs Harim that Naeng was soon to be 20 and tells Harim to be prepared. In the next scene we see Baraki attacks the village and takes Naeng along. We then see Harim and Burjo attacks Baraki and flees from there with Naeng. Here Burjo fights alone with the soldiers. Harim disobeys the orders from heaven and leaves the place with Naeng. Baraki follows them, but they jump into the water and die. Jack gives Ethan the locket that Burjo had given Harim 500 years ago. Jack informs Ethan that this time a girl named Sarah would have emoji powers, and that she would have a dragon tattoo on her shoulder. Ethan had to find Sarah. We then see in the present, Ethan tries to locate Sarah with the help of his friend Bruce. We then see a girl in the gym who notices the mark in the news and leaves to meet her friend Brandy. This girl was actually Sarah. Brandy comes to Sarah's house and asks Sarah about what had happened. There were pictures in Sarah's wall of Korean scriptures and emojis. Brandy then takes Sarah to a pub to cheer her up, but Sarah leaves soon. On her way back, she is attacked by some miscreants. Meanwhile, Jack comes and saves Sarah. The scene shifts to a zoo where the guard, who was asleep, is awakened by the cries of an elephant. He goes in and finds that a giant snake was eating the elephant. The snake was none other than Baraki. The scene shifts, and we see Sarah was in the police station, where the police thought Sarah had beaten up the miscreants. Sarah, however, tells them about the old man, but they were not believing her words. We then see a friend of Ethan, who is also a journalist, interviews Sarah, whereas Ethan goes to meet Jack. But he finds the evil general who misguides him and tells that Jack had gone to find emoji powers. Just then everything begins to fly and Ethan wakes up and realizes it was a dream only. Ethan tries to find Sarah, and here his friend comes and tells him about Sarah indirectly. The scene shifts where Sarah dreams that she was being held captive and tortured by the evil general. Sarah wakes up with a burning pain on the dragon tattoo. She calls the ambulance and is admitted to the hospital. Brandy goes to meet Sarah, but the authorities do not allow the meeting. Then we see Brandy and her friend goes to the house of Sarah to get some clothes for her, but they are killed by Baraki and the general. When Ethan hears about this, he feels Sarah had died, so he goes to her house and finds Brandy was dead. He then goes to the hospital to meet Sarah but is not allowed to do so. Here we see the doctor, who is Ethan's friend, allows him to meet Sarah, who informs him that bad things are about to happen. To this Ethan replies, "It has already started." Meanwhile, Baraki comes to the hospital in search of Sarah. Then we see the doctor helps Ethan and Sarah to escape. The doctor was actually Jack. Ethan and Sarah are then attacked the general. Here also, we see Jack helps them disguised as a lady. The general wakes his soldiers. Then we see Sarah and Ethan sharing each other's thoughts. Meanwhile, the FBI meets the defense secretary and tells him they were suspecting Sarah. We then see a fight between Baraki and the soldiers. Here Ethan takes Sarah to a therapist where she recalls her past. Baraki comes there also and attacks them, but they escape. Ethan then meets Bruce, asks him to arrange a helicopter. Here we see Ethan meets Jack in the loo of the restaurant. Jack reminds Ethan of his duty. He also reminds Ethan of how he had neglected his duty before this. Here we see Baraki was again here in the restaurant. Sarah and Ethan run from there, when Baraki is surrounded by the police. We then see Sarah and Ethan board the helicopter, but is resisted by Baraki. They jump from the helicopter and the helicopter attacks Baraki. Meanwhile, the general orders his men to find Sarah, and thus they start destroying everything. After this, we see a group of dragons attacks the car of Ethan and Sarah and take them along. After this, Ethan is kept captive while Sarah is taken to be slaughtered. General comes there and is killed by Ethan, who shouts in his Locket's powers kill Baraki as well as the soldiers. We then see a fight between Emogi and Baraki, and Sarah gives off her powers to Emogi, and an exhilarating sequence is seen that culminates in the death of Baraki. In the final scene, we see that Sarah had died to giving off her powers, but she tells Ethan that they would definitely meet. We then see Jack tells Ethan they were lucky to be the chosen ones to save the Earth, and he vanishes as Ethan bids him a farewell.